G'day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. So in this video I'm going to show you guys how to go about getting Beepan the LR card. It's another free-to-play LR. Beepan's a bit of a long grind, and by long I mean literally she's time gated to being 20 weeks. So it's a long grind, but it's one that's very easy to do, and one that you can do quite easily each week once you get to a certain ranking. And should go pretty smoothly. So Beepan only really has 3 things that you require. You need 5 of her TUR medal, you need 15 of her LR medal, and you obviously need copies of Beepan. You will need 24 in total if you are going for the 100% full SA, but that's quite difficult to do, but we'll cover that now. So these are the missions, and these are where you're going to get all your medals and 7 copies of Beepan. The missions pretty much boil down to having a team of GT units where you can use them once per week. You have to use them on stage 2 of Beepan, which means you need to have 100 stamina to spend on the event. It's really great for new players and veteran players, so I do suggest you do your Beepan event every week. And the second one boils down to just doing the Beepan event 40 times. That includes the super difficulty and the Z hard difficulty. So you can get a whole bunch of rewards just by doing the 2 difficulties in the mission each week. In terms of Beepan, the GT characters, obviously you just need any characters with the GT link that fill up a full slot in your team. And there's quite a few, and there are enough free-to-play cards for you to fill up all the GT slots in a team. So you don't even have to summon or have summonable units. And due to the way the Beepan event works, which we'll look at just now, you don't even need them to be quite high up. In terms of copies of the unit, you'll see me going through the missions now. You get them along the way to your total of 40 attempts at both difficulties in total. So that means the minimum amount of time it can take you is 20 weeks, because you can do 2 attempts each week. It will also take you 15 weeks to do the GT one, but as long as you are doing them both at the same time, 20 weeks will be your minimum. You do get 7 copies of Pan from the missions, which means in total, for you to rainbow the unit and have her at max 20 SA, you will need to have 17 copies farmed. That's going to be quite difficult because Pan only drops from a certain thing on the map. You have to hit the question mark on the map to have a chance at getting a copy of Beepan, and that only happens on the 100 stamina event, which really only gives you even 20 attempts at getting 17 copies of Beepan. And she's a rare spawn in the first place. So for most players, what I suggest that you actually just aim for getting Beepan using 1 of the 7 copies as your main, 4 of them for your hidden potential, and then getting Beepan to 10 out of 20 with cars once you get to the end of the 20 weeks. Obviously wait until the end of the 20 weeks to see how many copies of Beepan you've managed to get, and then you should be fine. You can see I've searched by Shadow Dragon Saga. That would be if you want to run an optimal team. But as I explained before, you don't even need to run an optimal team, because you don't need to have all the units do a lot of damage. The category, the requirement is only to have the GT link, which means we can actually run a full free-to-play team entirely based on GT characters. And because Pan in her event does not attack back, you don't need them to have high stats. You can clear the event without having any of the units actually take a hit, which means you can just fill the entire lineup with GT characters and take a decent friend lead. The friend lead doesn't count towards your link limit, so you're going to need all 6 of your characters to have GT as a link. This is the map that you'll see. I always suggest that you first look to see if you get a question mark. If you do not get a question mark, then it's fine. You can choose whichever path suits you. If you are link leveling, I always suggest that you go and grab the Goku or the Trunks if they appear, because that's going to give you a second fight. And due to having 100 stamina spent on this event, and link leveling being based on stamina and XP earned, it gives you a good chance at level linking some of those higher link levels. If you are not doing level linking, or if you have taken a team like this, the GT team, where you don't really care about link leveling them maybe, then what you can do is you can go and take the main path that I take is the direct one, the direct line from the start that gives you supports, awakening items and training items. As you can see, it doesn't matter how much damage you do, Pan has 99% damage reduction. You could have 3 units doing 40 million damage each and Pan will not die. She will also leave immediately after the first turn. So that means you don't have to stress about taking an attack. Pan will not throw an attack at you, which is why we're able to run such a subpar team. The units on the left, the characters, aren't really worth it. So like I say, you want to go for the money or the items. I'm going to go for the money just so we can see if this GT based Link team can do enough damage to finish off this Goku and this Trunks. And so we can just take a look and see, obviously, if we can still run those for Link leveling even with a subbar team. I remember once someone glitched the Beepan event and they actually managed to kill Beepan and the game bugged out. It couldn't complete the stage. Like Margin Vegeta glitched out and kept attacking over and over again, and they managed to finish the event. And the event literally would not finish because Pan physically cannot get to, like, hard coded into the game's data, she cannot get to 0 health. So it's pretty impressive. Very weird, but pretty impressive. But yeah, so as you can see, you can run this on super difficulty with the most motley crew team you've ever imagined. And yeah, you should be perfectly fine. So you need to do the super one, the 100 stamina one, every single week. Obviously 15 times with that GT based team. Obviously if you have good GT cards, please take those and Link level those, because it's way more worth your time than to take those random free to play cards, although some of them are obviously quite good. And then yeah, in terms of the level, well, the second one, you can run whichever difficulty you like. This one doesn't matter because you cannot get Beepan copies on the stage. So Beepan will not spawn on the on this stage here. She will only spawn on stage 2. So you can do whatever difficulty suits you. You can do a 20, a 40, an 80, you know, whatever you feel like doing at the time. It doesn't really affect anything barring the amount of XP you get. So I obviously always suggest doing the 80. But yeah, you're welcome to pretty much do whatever you want. Like I say, super attacking is not really going to matter too much. So yeah, go for it, clear it up, and obviously do this. The grind is very simple for Beepan, and very straightforward. So you really, the only limit is remembering to do it and doing it every week. In terms of the optimal way to do it, like I said, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to finish your 20 weeks first and see how many copies of Beepan you have. Maybe you'll have 10, maybe you'll have 12, maybe you'll have 11, maybe you'll have 13, maybe you'll have 24. What I always suggest, like I said, is take 1 copy, that's your main copy, stick 4 into it so that your hidden potential piles are opened, and then put the rest into SA. Once her SA is up to 10, then just awaken her to an LR. You get enough medals to awaken a second copy to LR, and then slowly start working on the second copy. If your Beepan is at like 8 out of 10 or something, and you really want to use Beepan, maybe for Hybrid Saiyans SBR or some easy A's, or there's plenty of content Beepan is great in, then you're welcome to use 1 or 2 cars on her. But there's no point in using the cars to get her from 10 to 20. She is pretty much almost as effective at 10 out of 20 SA because of her healing and her stunning ability and the fact that she has low damage anyway, than if she has 20 out of 20. So there's no real point in doing so, getting her to 20 out of 20. Get her to 10 out of 20 and then just kind of let the card sit and rest. You'll have all the medals from doing the missions and then slowly accumulate the Beepan copies over time. Who knows, maybe they'll bring the campaign back where Beepan dropped from every single time you tried this stage. You never know. So like I say, just leave it, don't worry about it, and accrue those second copies for that second LR that you need to raise her to 20 out of 20 over time. And in the meanwhile, just sit back and admire her absolutely fantastic artwork and her great design. Her skill set and everything is fantastic, so I do suggest you work on this, and I hope you watch this video and you get started on it early. But cool guys, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers and bye!